Hi, is this the Ask Me Anything, Answer Me Everything hotline? Yeah, it's Bonnie. How are you? Look, we're still in New York. It's this gorgeous virtual sets. Rock, yeah. Hey, listen, I want to touch on a serious topic today, and I need you to help me find a really qualified guest. Yeah, listen, sometimes things don't work out as planned, and a lot of people end up after a long marriage or a long relationship alone. I'm not really talking about divorce. We know 50%. Yeah, I know that's kind of man-made. But let's talk about when people predecease, the wrong spouse predeceases. So let's talk about men whose wives leave them alone. Yeah, I know, it's a problem. Some of them don't know where to get their shirts done if they're still working. They don't know how to light an oven. They don't know how to grocery shop. Balance a checkbook? You'd be surprised. I've heard stories. Unbelievable. So listen, you know we have no travel budget, but I need somebody who is just not living that life and mastering it, but I'd like somebody who has written about it and has some research. Yeah, I want statistics. I want the cold hard facts. Yeah, I want to talk about how a mature man survives without the woman who was supposed to be his partner for life. Do you think you could find me somebody? Somebody funny, charming, won't hurt my feelings. Okay, thank you very much. I'll talk to you again soon. Hi, I'm Bonnie D. Graham. Welcome to Something to Talk About number, oh my goodness, I think it's 405, little series I started way back in 1997. Yeah, we can pull a Fonzie on that one. We're going to be talking to the author of a very interesting book called Suddenly Solo, a lifestyle roadmap for the mature, widowed, or divorced man. But we're going to focus on widowed today. And my wonderful hotline has helped me find Hal. His first name is really Harold, but he and I are old friends already after an hour of knowing each other. Hal Spielman is here in the studio, and we're going to be talking about Suddenly Solo. So if you know anybody, if you're watching and you're a guy who's on your own, suddenly, if you have any relatives or friends and you're not watching us live, today is February 19th, 2013. The show will be posted on Vimeo, and you'll see it in the credits at the end where my channel is, or just email me at bonnie@bonnietv.com, and I'll tell you where to find it. So without further ado, whatever this means to you, this is Something to Talk About. Let's do the boarding house reach. George, let me see my guest. Hal, we are best friends now. You. Oh, that's charming. Oh, let's just stay like that. Hal, lovely, lovely to meet you. I want to do a shout out to your book agent, Dana Humphrey, and I have her business card. We're not really going to do a close-up because we can't with a virtual set, but I've got her card. Dana and I have known each other online for a couple of years, and she pitched you to me, and I said the topic sounded very interesting for my radio show. And come to find out, you're a Long Islander like I am, and you're within driving distance of the studio.
That's
so
right.
Welcome to Great Neck Public Access TV, Hal Spielman. How are you, Hal?
I am very pleased to be here, and I'm in reasonable health.
Thank you.
In fact, this is the first TV show I've been on where they start by giving you kisses.
I know where the secret stash of chocolate is here at Public Access. I have a whole bunch here on the desk. Well, thank you for that. I'm glad to be able to welcome you warmly with chocolate kisses. The hugs will come later. So Suddenly Solo. This sounds like a sad thing, but I know from reading your book it's a happy thing because you are living the life, and obviously you are doing well, Hal. Let's start from the beginning. When did you become Suddenly Solo? If you'd like to share that, and what led you to write the book? Let's start about you.
Well, my wife passed away about 5 years ago, and I realized very quickly that there were big gaps in my life, but also in the simple mechanics of living. You said, where's the checkbook? Mm-hmm. I didn't know where the checkbook was because my wife took care of the household accounts. And there were little mechanical things that were part of your everyday living, mm-hmm. that you become totally dependent on the other person you're living with to take care of. And when I saw that, became aware of it, I went online to mm-hmm. see what kinds of things are available for guys like me. And I found there's virtually nothing out there for mature widowed men or for any widowed men. There's a lot of stuff for women.
Yes.
Hundreds of books for women.
Yes.
Generally written by another woman, frequently a psychologist, writing about her patients.
Mm-hmm. True.
And I said, wait a second, that's not the way I do things, because my working field for 50 years was market research and communication mm-hmm. research.
So
and
why
I
not?
commented, my old the company I founded in 1968 is actually in this building.
Very good. You're coming home here, right?
Right. Although I haven't been there. I've been retired for 4 years now. But I said we can look at this from the point of view of market research. Do the things we would do if we were working for one of our clients, and most of our clients were Fortune 200 companies. So I started by doing some depth interviews.
Men and women, by the way.
It was originally it was just men.
Okay.
And then eventually we said, well, I say we because I had some other people helping me. They said, no, we've got to get a woman's input into this as well.
Absolutely.
Well, coming off that, we started to see areas and ideas and gaps in information that we thought we could fill. So now we turn to surveys, to eye tracking, to content analysis, all the other kinds of tools that research people use to define a market and understand a market. And we ended up interviewing over 1,000 men and over 600 women, all in this class of over 55, generally the 60s and 70s, and widowed or divorced, coming off some long-time relationships.
How did you find them? Were people eager to talk to you, Hal, or were people reluctant to share their stories?
Well, it's actually not hard to do.
Okay.
First of all, most of the survey data, which is the big samples, are done online, and there are companies that keep panels of 2 or 3 million people, and they turn into those panels and draw out the people that fit our characteristics.
Wow, wow.
And so it was not particularly difficult to do. And the depth interviews, there are people that, again, will recruit people to specific characteristics for you. They were not all done here on Long Island. They were done, some in New York, some in Florida. Same with the women's interviews, done in both places. Why did we use Florida?
Why?
Okay.
Because.
It's the hotbed, Southern Florida. It's a hotbed of singles, of mature
in that
singles
age group,
in that
over
age group.
55.
Yeah.
Would you like to know what I like about your book, Hal?
I'm anxious to hear.
I'm going to do a blatant book review.
Okay.
Number one, you've divided it in easy categories. I'm going to just read from the table of contents,
Okay.
if I may. I just want my viewers to know that it's an interesting read, whether you're single, whether you think you're going to be, whether you know somebody. Hal has divided into very logical ways to break up the content. Number one is separation, the most difficult time. Number two is being alone and dealing with loneliness. It's a couple's world. Okay. Number three is new connections. So we have the sunlight coming into the world and saying maybe there is something. Number four is the search. Now that you're thinking about it, maybe you better go looking and find the right person. Stage five is moving on a new life. And then the final word at the end. That's number one, what I like about your book. I like content that is divided into logical sections so that I can follow your train of thought and you would mirror mine. Number two, you have anecdotes, case studies. And on my Senior Moment show, which I host with my mom, Ruth, we just did a taped a show a few minutes ago remotely with her on Skype from Florida. I was telling her about one of the stories I read in your book. May I tell the story? Funny story, and I recognized it as Rothman's. I'm going to say that. Hal was talking about a gentleman who is single, newly single, looking for ladies, went to Rothman's, a notorious singles watering hole on Long Island, upscale, very cliquish, and very well-dressed from what I understand.
Yes,
I never had the chutzpah to go there. I'm not going to either. And this gentleman put his keys on the bar and just innocently dropped his keys on the bar, and women just flocked around him, and he was very popular. Went back a week or two later, put his car keys on the bar, and nobody would talk to him. And he looked down at his car keys and realized that he was driving the Porsche with the Porsche keys the first time, and he was driving the Ford the second time. So he quickly reached in his pocket and found the key fob that had the Porsche logo on it, put it on the bar, and an adorable blonde sidled up and said, "Hey, buy me a drink, sailor." So he learned his lesson. Sometimes it's all about sizzle, and we didn't get to the steak yet.
That's exactly right.
But I love the fact that I recognized, you didn't say Rothman's in the book.
No, I didn't. No.
But I love the fact that you have case studies, and they're well aligned. I dog-eared the book already. The other thing I love, and I'll let you talk in a second, is that you put the statistics very succinctly in bold.
Yeah. We have a ton of statistics. We could have written a technical, straightforward research book.
Yes. Would anybody have read it?
And no one would have read it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So we made a decision. Well, I guess it was my decision because I said, I've written lots of statistical, business reports. I can't write this. So I got a friend of mine, happens to be one of my golf buddies, who is a professional writer and has a great sense of humor to work with me on this. And so the book is written in a very light, easy to read style.
Yes.
But the data is in there.
Right. You put the data in, you didn't bury it. Here, let me read a couple things. Interestingly enough, 22% of the divorced men I surveyed responded they had been happy in their relationship.
Yes.
And your book is for divorced and widowers.
That was one of our surprising numbers, because it said that the wife initiated the divorce. They thought everything was great.
Oblivious before
Oblivious
Suddenly
to what was
Solo.
going on.
Here's another one. After all, 68% of Suddenly Solos, which is your category for the men you interviewed, agree that a woman's physical appearance is important. Thought that was interesting. But you also make the point in the book, Hal. George, can I have me on screen? I want to talk to the camera for a second. Hello, George. All right, we'll get me. There we are. I want to make the point that Hal goes into such depth in his book that he tells men actually to take the underwear and throw it out, because you never know. Get new underwear. Get new underwear, because you never know who might see you in it. Buff your nails. Buy an emery board, because you never know what it might snag on when somebody is with you looking at you in your
but my favorite is
underwear.
cut your toenails.
Cut your toenails,
and
right.
you know why.
You know why, that's right. Ouch! But Hal has such a human touch to this book. He's talking about and he makes the point that some women might have been a 10 when after 55, 65, 75, they might not quite look like Bo Derek looked when she was a 10 anymore, and maybe she still looks like that. So get behind the facade of the current looks and see who's the person.
We stress that all through the book, multiple places. In the glossary even, we make some comments about that. But if you go to the gym, everything's going to hang out. And you're not going to look so great either.
That's right.
And you can't walk around sucking in your tummy. So,
not for long.
But recognize that woman that's standing there with a kind of roundish figure, get past that and think and find out she may be a really nice person that you will enjoy being with, because the 36, 24, 36, that's a rare myth, and usually it's been enhanced. That is not a figure of nature.
No, not anymore. There are many
and
of
certainly
them. You're
not,
right. You're right. A little plastic is working its way in there. Let's see now. You also get down and dirty and really talk about expectations on dates, expectations of intimacy. This book is not for the lighthearted. This book is about, hey guys, how do you get your shirts done? How do you cut your toenails? How do you go on a date? How do you where do you take a woman? And when does a woman expect SEX? There's the camera, SEX. That's kind of bold of you to put that in the book. Are people reacting positively to that?
Well, we make a point of saying that the book is from condiments to condoms. And I mean, we can say that on.
You certainly can. You may. My show. Say it again. Condiments to condoms.
Condoms, because it's part of the total life cycle, and we talk about things like condoms because both the Palm Beach Post and the New York Times have had lengthy stories about the increase in HIV in some of these senior communities. It's a real
populations,
problem.
Up-and-coming population of HIV positive is women, I understand, over 60, who think, well, I'm no longer of childbearing age, I don't need to use protection.
Exactly right. No, big problem.
Big mistake.
But now, in a recent survey we did, we asked specifically about asked women about carrying condoms. And if I remember the number, I think it was over 80% said yes, it is appropriate to carry
it's
condoms.
A woman's responsibility.
And their own lubricants.
Yes, but you also made a point of telling men not to buy it by the gallon size.
Right, by the gross.
A woman still wants to feel that if she's next to your bed and you're taking something slidey out of the drawer that you didn't have 20 women there the week before.
Exactly right.
Yes,
buy the little packages.
But let's get, since we're making this into an adult show, not X-rated, adult show, you say on page, and forgive me for turning the pages down, but
That's
I'm
okay.
tired of sticky notes.
It's your copy.
Thank you, darling, and you're going to autograph it for me, I hope. Page 108, we're still talking after the show. Page 108, you say, my survey research, this is survey says, shows that most men expect to have some sexual activity after the third date, but most women don't believe it will happen until after the fifth date. So that's the fourth date must be, one person is not too happy on the fourth date.
That's a very tricky moment, that fourth date. Actually, I just wrote a column on that.
Where do you write?
Well, there's a publication that the Miami Herald carries called Boomer Times.
Oh, nice.
And I just did a column for them. It's not. It'll be in the March issue, specifically on that topic. And I suggested two really important things. One, communicate something. That, you know, at that third date, that you really did want to see him again. Get him past the point of thinking, oh, I got to have sex. What am I going to get? A peck on the cheek? That's not going to do it.
Nope.
But a nice kiss might help.
Yes, that's true.
And then the other thought is, other suggestion is to pick an event of some kind and say to him, oh, there's going to be a jazz concert at such and such next Tuesday night. I'd like to take you to it.
Ah.
Now you're into the fourth date.
Okay.
And you're
running the show.
Right.
Interesting.
And that's a very easy step to take. A man is much appreciative.
Yes, he is.
Because he's been used to picking up all the tabs.
Yes.
And now she's expressing an interest in participating in their entertainment
keeps him interested,
level.
even if it's not Betty by time yet.
Right.
Question for you. Who pays on the first date? The old rule used to be you do the asking, you pick up the check. Is that true? Or do most women
it's still true, and it's a matter of honor for most men
to pick up the check.
But women will use it as a device. They say, well, let's go Dutch. And that is a device to say, I don't owe him anything. I don't have to go out with him again.
That's right. Trust me.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've used that as a point of making a statement that I'm not happy with the relationship and I'll pay or I'll treat the whole check and you're not going to see me again.
Exactly.
Ever. I have used that, actually.
Or
I didn't know other
the woman
people use it.
that says, I just want to go to the ladies' room and never comes back.
That's the old, my husband went out for a pack of cigarettes and we never saw him again. Right, or my wife went out for a quart of milk. Yes, yes, yes. Just to make the point of how broadly your book, The Broad Brush Approach, I'm going to read from the back cover. This is charming, by the way. The topics covered: food, family, moving on, roadmap, sex, family, positivity, friends, home, alone, moods, exploration, life experiences, insurance, beard, underwear, kids, toys, friends, uncoupling, laundry, let's see here, toys, oh boy, yes, anxiety, mustache, grief, etiquette, dating, insurance, online dating, laundry, together, exploration, finances, her, alone, her happiness, her house, us, experience, more sex, house, and happiness. Not in. This is like an infographic. We're not going to do a close-up. I don't know. Can we do a close-up off camera? Pete, could we get a close-up of this if your camera's off camera? Let's see if we can get one on this. It's up to them. I'm just going to hold this up and we're going to continue talking. What was your favorite part of the research, Hal? And how many years did it take you to compile all these stats?
It took us about 18 months of research. Well, remember,
you're in the business.
I'm in the business.
Look at this. We've got this on. Excuse me 1 second. There we go. I didn't lie. See? We've got all of these topics. What a fantastic shot. And not only that, wait, Pete, don't take your camera away. I want the audience to just absorb this. I'm going to show the cover of the book. Hold on. Flip. Quick change. There we go. Suddenly, I have to learn how to hold things. Upside down, backwards. There we go. Suddenly solo. I'm completely turned. There we go.
You got it.
A lifestyle roadmap. Okay, one more time, Pete. Let me have it again. There we go. A lifestyle roadmap for the mature, widowed, or divorced man. And there he is, and he's facing this road. And he's got 3 ways to go. And he is alone, and suddenly. So there you have it. Really, really good. Hal, you wrote this with somebody named Mark Silbert.
Mark Silbert, one of my golf buddies.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Is he suddenly solo, too?
No, he's not. But he is a very good writer with a great sense of humor.
And you collaborated on this?
Right.
Very, very nice. Very nice. So talk to me. Would you consider writing a sequel to this?
We've actually been playing around with 2 possibilities.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah. One is a similar book, but based from the woman's point of view. I mean, we've done everything from the men's point of view.
Right.
I mean, that's why the glossary, if you read it, it gets very strange because, you know, I've got one of my favorites is kitchen. what's the kitchen? The kitchen is where the beer's kept.
Oh my God. Oh, pardon me if I put on my
Sure.
glasses. I didn't get to the glossary. So you keep talking. I'm going to
Yeah.
find a couple of favorites in here. Go ahead.
And there are others like this. So it's all from the men's point of view.
These are
And we've
funny.
thought of doing that from a similar research study from the women's point of view. We've already interviewed over 600 women, so we have a running start on that. But there are other
I hope
areas.
running isn't the operative word.
Yeah, that's right. But as we've been working our way through the data, there's clearly other areas we did not get into that we really would like to get into a little more. And it has to do with women's feelings and responses, the whole aspect of support groups, which women are very good at. Coffee clutch is not a male thing, it's a woman thing. But these are the things that give women the edge when they are solo. They really have
bonders.
a support group.
We're gatherers and bonders. Let me read a couple bonderers. I like that word. Interesting from the vocabulary. Let's see
From the
now.
glossary, yeah.
Life raft. Woody Allen's description of his girlfriend's apartment and the reason for keeping it, even though they reside in his place in the movie Annie Hall. Okay, here's one. Living together, today's substitute for marriage, socially acceptable. Love, non-definable and logic-dispelling emotion. Love handles, male view, helpful part of a woman's anatomy. Female view, 4 extra pounds. I increased that one a little bit.
I like that one, yeah.
Let's
Had a lot
see.
of fun writing these.
Yes, lady is a female with special characteristics. OMG, can't believe what that one was. Hooking up, what used to be called having sex. There, I
right.
said the word again. Going steady, historic phrase for overt coupling. Girls are women in training. And friends with benefits is enjoyment without strings, FWB. You sure covered it all in here, kiddo. Very, very, very interesting.
Well, we had a lot of fun, and there are times we would be sitting there and just giggling, really. We're working on a section, and we'd start to get into some of the narratives, because I would write all the narratives. They came from the depth interviews, and then we'd start, and I'd be reading one, and we'd start taking off from that. And it was really a lot of fun doing it. So would I do another book? It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. But that would be one topic, is to do a book like this with real research from the women's point of view.
Are you self-published or publisher?
Self-published.
Self-published,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, the economics.
95%,
Absolutely.
98% of the authors I interview on my Read My Lips radio show are self-published.
Yeah,
so I recognize, and it's definitely the way to go, because you
Yes.
control everything. You do the
Exactly
work,
right.
but and nobody says a big publisher
No.
would give you any perks.
And they're not from everything. And I made an effort to really look into this.
You have to today.
Right.
It's the way to
and
go.
the economics are terrible with publishers, and they really don't give you a lot of support.
No.
We created the website.
Yes.
We hired an ad
Which
agency.
they would have probably made you do anyway.
So we
there you
went ahead
go.
and do it.
I've
did
heard
it.
stories.
So,
Now,
yeah.
tell me something. Online dating, are you finding in your research that more and more men over 55, 60, 65
That
are
was
doing it?
that was one of the big surprises for us.
Tell us.
We were looking at the data on from men from men and women in this case, who were now in a relationship. We were able to break that out, and the largest category of how they met were with the men. And the women, they met. They were with somebody they knew before they were solo.
Really?
And that was like 25%, 26%.
So that could be a former girlfriend or
Former
a friend
girlfriend,
of your late wife's.
the cheerleader from high school,
The old
and now it's
neighbor
40
across
years
the
ago,
street.
right?
I read
the neighbor
some of those
across
in
the
your book,
street,
right?
right? We
What
have a
about the
case.
pot roast brigade? Are those usually familiar women, or is that, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's
Another story.
a little overwhelming.
Another book.
But
the
the,
food runs
second
out.
biggest
And
category.
you even tell men to label the food. when
Right,
they put it
label
in the
the food.
freezer. Who
Label
gave
the
it to
food.
you, and who do you want to take out? Yes.
But the second category, highest category, was online dating. 22% had met the woman they were with online, and women the same thing.
Really?
And that was, in fact, I didn't believe it when I saw it. I said, no, it can't be right. So I had them rerun the data, and the data, it was correct. I've subsequently seen other research, and it's saying exactly the same thing. And what we're finding is that even reluctantly, people are going online to look for dates, and particularly around times like Valentine's Day and New Year's and Christmas. That's a big jump.
Those are emotional holidays.
Very emotional
Those
holidays.
are couples holidays.
Right, and they want the coupling.
Yes.
And there's a big jump in people going online to look for a partner at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the recognition is that it is a very efficient means of meeting, at least getting the background on a lot of people very quickly.
And it's a numbers game. The
and
chances
it's a numbers
are,
game.
yes, and
Right.
I would expect that the more and more men, single men eligible who enter the population suddenly solo, the more women are going to be taking a look at them and giving them a chance. I don't think it works as equally for women over a certain age. It doesn't.
Doesn't.
Men have the advantage.
Yeah.
Home-court advantage.
It's the statistics again. There are almost four times as many women available as there are single men.
Well, lucky you.
Well, it's very tiring.
Well, an honest man. What is it? Who is holding the light? I'm looking
Well,
for
we
an
have
honest
we
man.
have a we have a joke in there about recognizing your age and what you're capable of at this stage as compared to when you were 24.
Yes. Yes. And
I will simply tell you the punchline.
go ahead. The
'Cause
punchline.
The punchline is, so how many times a night is biannually?
I saw that. I saw that. I saw that. I like that.
Us poor guys in our wishful thinking, but it ain't the real world anymore.
Well, yes, that's true. Commercials, Levitra and Viagra to the contrary. We have
Right.
about 3 minutes left according to my iPhone clock because I can't see the timer. It's what is it? 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and we are live, so this is the real deal.
Wow.
So I know, it flies.
We
when you're
just
having-
started.
I know we did. Well, you're going to have to come back. But question is, I want to tell people, where can people find you? Is it suddenlysolo.org?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the best way.
Now it's not .com, it's .org. O-R-G.
Yeah.
So, and
Listen,
not .net.
again, it's
.org.
not a dating site.
No.
It's an information site.
About the book.
About
the research?
About the research. We get a lot of inquiries. I just got one that I just responded to this evening before I came from a man who was dating a woman for a number of years, and they broke up, not in a hostile way. He lives in a relatively small community, and but he's now dating another woman. And he wasn't sure, he's perplexed was the way he signed it, of what to do if he met friend one when he was with friend two. And I had some commentary for him about that.
The big word is the A word, awkward.
Awkward is right.
Awkward is
but
right.
you have to deal with it in a very direct way.
Hal Spielman.
It was so nice meeting you.
Pleasure to meet you too. I'd like you to come back sometime and we'll do a deeper dive into the book,
Sure, love
suddenlysolo.org.
to.
Look at the credits. I want to thank my crew, my intrepid crew, Peter Harkness over there and Colette Thaw over there. Thank you, my studio crew. And I have to do a shout out to Adam Fishbein and Erica Bradley is not in there, and Mike Peters, but that's my support crew from Public Access. Thank you, Desi. Thank you, Lana, glad your mom's feeling better. Thank you, Colette, again, and thank you to George. Let's give a round of applause for George, our director, Intrepid. Really appreciate that.
Thumbs up, George.
Hal's information, suddenlysolo.org. Hal at suddenlysolo.org. You can call him Hal. I can call him Hal. Everybody can call him Hal. Charming man. Thank you so much. Dana Humphrey, shout out. Thank you for sending Hal to me. I appreciate it very much. Go get the book. Learn. Give it to somebody. Some holidays coming up when you can give them ops sponsors. We have ops sponsors now. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate our sponsors. Remember, Hal and I are going to do the shout out quickly. There's always something to talk about. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There's always something to talk about. You heard it here. Bonnie TV.